Alright, I've got a quick question for you. In a survival game, would you rather face 100 enemies or one blizzard? Think about it, because by the end of this video, you might change your mind. We're gonna look at 7 survival games where the biggest threat isn't a monster or a boss, it's the world itself. Let's get into it. We're starting with one that pulls you in with a false sense of security. Stranded Deep starts with a plane crash, leaving you stranded in the middle of the ocean, hopping between tiny desert islands. There's palm trees, sunshine, and waves on the shore. It almost looks like a postcard, but it's absolutely not. That beautiful blue water is one of the most dangerous things in the game. If you wade into the shallows, you'll find sea urchins, and if you step on one, the poison can quickly take effect. If you swim towards the reefs, you'll encounter lionfish who are also ready to inject you with venom on contact, and eventually you'll have to go deeper in the water, and that's where you'll find the sharks. And they aren't scripted encounters, they'll show up when they show up. And even when you make it back to dry land, you'll face sunstroke and dehydration. If you want clean water and a shelter, you'll have to work for that. This isn't a postcard in any way. At least in Stranded Deep, you can see the threats coming. In Green Hell, some of the threats that you face are so small, you won't even know they've got you until it's too late. Green Hell drops you in the Amazon rainforest, and every single inch of it is trying to end you. I'm not even really exaggerating here. It starts at a scale that you can't even see. Parasites, worms, and infections from untreated wounds or unsafe conditions. You won't notice the leech that's attached to your arm until you see your health indicator and realize that you've got an unwanted guest. And treating yourself for any of these things means crafting bandages out of leaves and whatever you can scavenge and hoping that things are going to go in your favor. And of course, there's the wildlife. There are snakes that are camouflaged on the forest floor, scorpions that pace the floors of caves, and jaguars that will stalk you through the forest. If you manage to survive all that, you still need to eat and drink, and this game doesn't even make that easy for you. This game is called Green Hell, and it's certainly not mislabeled. At least in Green Hell, you can rely on yourself. What if your only protection was a car and the road itself was fighting against you? Pacific Drive sounds almost cozy. You're driving through a mysterious exclusion zone in your trusty car. It's you and your car against the world. It's kind of like the ultimate road trip, except that the world is actively trying to tear you and your car apart. Extreme weather events will shove your car around like it weighs nothing. Corrosive gas can eat through the armor of your car, meaning the hostile atmosphere is basically dissolving your protection as you drive. And electrical anomalies can leave you stranded in the middle of a zone with no idea of what's coming next. And here's the thing, if you don't have your car, you don't just lose your form of transportation, you lose your shield and you lose your storage. Your car is basically everything that stands between you and an unpredictable and terrifying environment. That means every repair feels desperate and every drive feels like you're testing fate. Now, what if the temperature of your world was your enemy and it was only going in one direction? Frostpunk is different from every other game on this list because you're not surviving for yourself. You're responsible for an entire city. Every decision that you make, how resources are used, what day-to-day life looks like for your citizens, it's all a calculation based around trying to hold off the freeze. The weather doesn't have good days or bad days, it really only has worse days. Supplies run low, people get sick, and they get desperate. You'll find yourself passing laws you'd never imagine passing just to keep people warm for one more night. And the entire time, the threat doesn't go away. That temperature keeps dropping. Frostpunk asks a question not a lot of other survival games do. What will you do to survive? Not can you survive. Frostpunk sets you as a society fighting the cold. But what if it was just you, alone in a frozen wilderness where the weather can turn at any minute? If you've played The Long Dark, then you know the feeling of stepping outside, getting hit by the wind, and feeling your condition drop. This isn't a game where cold is just a status effect, it's relentless. The weather in this game is genuinely unpredictable. You start a day with clear skies, plan a route, and 5 minutes later you're in a whiteout blizzard where you can't see a few feet in front of you. Your temperature plummets, your clothing is soaked, and you face the reality of your situation. You can keep walking blindly, hoping you don't fall off of a cliff, or stop drop and risk freezing to death. And even when the weather does cooperate, the wildlife doesn't. Timberwolf packs will harass you and wear you down, waiting for you to make a mistake. A single wolf attack can set you back days of progress if you need time to recover. The Long Dark doesn't need monsters. The cold, the wind, the wildlife, and the crushing loneliness of hundreds of miles of empty frozen landscape is more than enough. It's honestly one of the most dread-inducing survival game experiences you can have. At least the Long Dark doesn't force you underwater. Our next entry, Subnautica, leaves you to navigate an alien ocean planet. To explore Subnautica, to gather resources, really to go anywhere, you're gonna have to dive in. And you're not diving into a familiar ocean, you're diving into a strange ocean that is full of hazards. The surface feels manageable enough. It's a little bit of a fake out, honestly. You can still see the sunlight, there are shallow reefs, and the fish that you encounter seem friendly enough. But eventually, you'll have to go deeper. The deeper you go, the more strain there can be on your equipment, the more your oxygen consumption can be impacted, and the less visibility you'll have. Eventually, the light stops reaching you completely. You can't fight the pressure or the lack of light, you can really only try to mitigate it. But those things can easily challenge you, even causing you to be stranded in unfamiliar water if your equipment is seriously damaged. Yes, the leviathans that lurk in the ocean are terrifying, but honestly, the real horror is the moment that you realize you're hundreds of feet below the surface of the water, in the dark, with no path back home. That's Subnautica reminding you that you don't belong here. So far we've had the ocean, the rainforest, frozen wastelands, and an alien sea. But what if the environment could be literally any of those, and it changes every time you go somewhere new? No Man's Sky is the wild card on this list because its environment isn't one thing, it's a ton of different things. Each planet you visit has its own atmosphere, its own hazards, and its own way of trying to make life really difficult for you. You could touch down on a paradise world with blue skies and peaceful wildlife and plenty of resources, or you might land on a planet with superheated storms that hit every few minutes and toxic rain that corrodes your suit. Some planets are so radioactive your hazard protection drains in seconds. Others are so cold you can barely leave your ship without freezing on the spot. To survive, you have to be flexible. You have to adapt in real time to a world that's actively hostile towards you and roll with whatever punches the game throws at you. So, has your answer from the beginning changed? Would you still rather face the environment than a horde of enemies? Because these 7 games make it clear. You can see enemies and you can fight them, but you can't fight the cold, you can't fight the ocean, you can't fight the pressure. Those things don't negotiate, they don't get tired, and they don't stop. Let me know in the comments, which of these survival game environments challenged you the most? Did I miss any with this video that you feel like are the most challenging survival game worlds that you've faced? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you like more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.